Well, for me, one of my first inspirations and watching as a bass player would be this man here. You know, and I remember back in the day when you got your Sunburst semi-acoustic that you called Lucy.
Right.
Yes.
You remember that?
Lucy, yeah.
Crikey.
No lie, you couldn't make this up.
Wow.
And I remember just seeing him play. I remember you always played bass lines. You never just messed about and ad-libbed and blah, blah, blah. You do a little licks here and there, but there was always a solid line. Always a solid line. And the tracks, you would just make tracks groove. And I never forgot that.
Wow.
Same with both of you as well, but you would be the first one that I really saw. And then watching Wayne at the town hall, I'm a little kid and he's up on the stage, him and Ozzy, and it's just like, wow. You know what I mean? And hearing that big bass sound, like I said, I don't know how you got away with that. You know what I mean? You know? And then later on, because Wayne, I love your style as well, playing bass lines, and then you wouldn't play anything for 2 or 3 notes, and then you suddenly come back with it, and just like, oh.
Yeah. And you know, if I was playing now, it would be exactly the same.
And that's fine.
Exactly the same, because that's a vibe that I still love.
But I think it's great because it's not always it's just about what you play. It's what you don't play sometimes. Sometimes it's about what you don't play. And then seeing Glenn later on as well, and with Shiloh and people like, I think Jennifer Beasley, was it somebody used to play for? And True Vine, I want to say.
True Vine.
When Shiloh came in, man, and you came in with like your Fender bass, man, and your Black Precision, the tone, man, just smooth and round and steady. The one song I used to love to hear you guys play, I Go to the Rock. When you started, dum, 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 whoa, the crowd would just go crazy. You didn't have to play anything else, the song done. You know what I mean? Yeah, so really, you guys, apart from the older guys that you had to see first, like John Aldred and Joseph and all that, you guys were the ones that I first saw play and thought, yeah, man.
So about, from the secular point of view, which guys do you admire or?
From the secular point of view, I like some of the usual suspects like your Marcus Millers. Marcus, I really like for his feel. I know he can do all the technical stuff, but I think he's just got a really nice, sensitive feel, whether he's playing a bass line or a solo. Nathan East, I think he plays some nice grooves. He's not overly fancy. I think he just plays some nice, solid grooves. I love the stuff that he does with Anita Baker. And Anthony Jackson, his grooving, oh my goodness.
Something else, isn't it?
Yeah, really and truly. Just, there's a lot of other guys I like as well, but I think those 3, cool.
Same question to Wayne. Now come to you, Raymond.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little, in the presence of these guys, it's a little unfair really for me because I started so young, right? Yeah. And in the church, other than there was a guy down in London, and we were talking about in one of the Milton brothers that played for the Strings of Prophecy. Now I'm going back a good few years. And I watched him, and I'm not saying that he was someone I go, oh, I want to play like him, but he inspired me to carry on. But from an inspiration point of view, it has to be James Jameson all day long. And also Bernard Edwards from Chic. Because I just could relate to both of them, and there was a little bit of both of them in what I played and what I aspired to playing. So yeah, those guys were that's what the main inspiration. I enjoyed them.
Good. Well, I must say, and thank you for saying that, Wayne. I mean, Wayne's been my influence playing the bass. Sorry, from I started playing the instrument. When I used to watch Wayne play and he used to roll that bass, that lick, repetitive style of playing. I've never heard that kind of playing anywhere, I mean, I listen to the radio and all that, but he's been my influence from the start, and there was never, I wouldn't look at it as a competition. No. All right, it was playing because we're going to church, worshiping, and we're sharing. I remember when I came to your house, and they're trying to pick your brain or something, and but visit as a brethren, just to evolve more in my bass playing, and that.
And it's so strange that You were so young.
Yes, I was so young.
And when I saw you today, I'm thinking, gosh, where's those years
I
gone?
don't know.
You know, where's those years gone?
I don't know.
And as I said, I can remember
Yeah.
going into Peel Street and hearing, and I walked in, I went, that sounds like me. That sounds like, and then Raymond, you had the reputation there for playing the same. Yeah,
It was you know. So, like I said, there was never a competition. Because, you know, you needed a springboard to work from. You got to start from somewhere. You understand?
Yeah.
And that's where my bass playing started from. Because I've got a son and a name after you.
Yeah.
Funny enough, Wayne. I said,
It's very humbling. I've got to say to hear this. Very
I'm telling
humbling.
you.
It
No,
is.
it's true.
It's
I named
really
the son
nice.
after Wayne because, you know, I looked upon him, you know, idly, you know, from my youth days, you know, playing, going to church because, I mean, going to church was the thing, you know. Sometimes I used to be the first there. You know, I used to run. My brother used to come. We used to walk. I used to run and leave him. He said, "Why you always running and leaving me behind?" You know, but he's just trying to get there, and you know, to get on the instrument and start playing. Now, well, I come from you know Jamaican family background, so playing the bass back then and listening to music, I was listening to like a lot of reggae. You know, because my dad loved you know the reggae. So hearing a lot of reggae tune being played and that. So that's sort of gone into my way of thinking, right? And I used to come up with like reggae bass lines and that, you know, I used to invent things and wondering, no, what is to do with that? You know, so it's like the creativity part of my training, you know, coming up. As time as bass players back then, obviously, you would have had the early, I wouldn't really have known the name, but those that played, like with the guitar player, Ernest Ranglin.
Val Douglas was one of them.
Yeah, I played with Millie, my boy, you know,
You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, because Ernie arranged it, I believe.
You know, I
and
played with
guitar
him.
on it.
Matter of fact, I played with Ernie, Ernest Ranglin in Jamaica and here in England. So, you know, my journey, you know, that way as a bass player, right? You know, listening to the whole, like Lloyd Parks, you know, and then kind of bass
We the
player
People band.
coming up, right? So, it's like in the later years when I get to, I think late or early 80s when I start to get to learn about other bass players, like Stanley Clarke.
Yes, Stanley Clarke.
Yeah, you know, what get with
Jackal.
Stanley, what get with Stanley Clarke is his clarity, right? His sweetness, and I was playing one of his tune, you know, listening to one of his tune, and my brother came in and said, "Is that you playing?" Oh no, that's not me playing. You know, but he thought that was no, that's you know Stanley. So, you know, you had the Stanley, you had the Jackal. You know,
Pastorius.
you know, and then, I mean, later on, I've got to introduce like Ray Brown, you know, like on the upright bass when I started to play. But all those bass players that I mentioned, most of them was like classically trained. Well, I mean, I didn't really know this until when I started reading the book. It was like a explanatory, it was saying how to obtain a tutor in the way you want to, or the style that you need to play. And I remember the instrument that I started to play was a double bass, and it was saying I need to find like an orchestral player, you know, on that. And what I did, I rang up Burnham City Council. They got me to the CBSO, and I spoke to the principal. I think it was John Tattisdale at the time, and I told him I'd like to learn to play the instrument, and he put me onto Charles Wall, which is still my tutor today, you know, from all that time, you know, and I just love it. I just carried on with it.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's really good.
Glenn, same question. I bet you've got a
What
question.
was
The question is, which bass players influence you?
Well, obviously from the start.
Church and then second. Oh, sorry, go.
It was seeing Wayne playing all the times in revivals and convention, and then as I went to learn and to experiment. I listened. I remember hearing, because at home I used to have to hear with earphones, listen, because you couldn't play the music loud at home. You know, what was that radio station that you could hardly hear?
PCR.
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg.
Yeah.
Luxembourg.
Yeah, that's
So I
right.
listened in Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And I remember Earth, Wind and Fire. And I thought, so I went and checked that Earth, Wind downtown at one of them shops. They played it for me. And it was Virgin White.
Right, yes.
So I just
yes.
loved the way he just
Yes.
the way he was playing like that staccato. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I listened to him. So like, you know, just any chance when you're playing a chorus to drop that in, me and Trevor would just drop it in there. You know, it was
right.
lovely, you know. Then I moved on to, I remember I was at school and we had this lesson one time and I went to this guy's house.
You did what?
We had a lesson. So I went to this Jamaican Indian boy named Humphrey Gopi. And I remember going in to his room and he said, Glenn, listen to this. And it was Burning and Looting. I wasn't into reggae then.
right,
And he played that. He said, you see this man here? Bob Marley. Like a big one there, you know.
Okay.
Then I remember at 75, myself and Ray went to Jamaica with Mum. And Bob Marley was all over the place. And I bought my first album. Yeah, we put it back to him there. And that's it, Family Man. And I couldn't believe what the man was playing.
Yes.
I just couldn't. I used to sit down and it was in my car, at home, headphones on, of course, listening to it. And man's playing and he's damping in the sound. Sometimes he don't play at all. Then he'll come back in.
Yes.
And I just blew my mind.
Jameson of reggae.
And years later, you know, church, you get to play secular music. I joined the band and was doing Bob Marley stuff. So I already learned it. I remember going for the guy called me up, wanted me to do an audition. So I've gone there and I knew a few guys and he said, look, see if you... So I already knew the Marley's tune. So I've gone in there and it was a Bellyful. He said, I'm gonna do Bellyful.
All right.
Drop pan that, Steve.
Yes.
Drop pan that now and he says, done another tune and he says, yeah. Listen, if you want the job, it's yours.
Good.
And I was with them for 10 years. And then while being with Legend, we got a phone call from, an email from Portugal saying they need a bass player to play with the Wailers.
Oh, right.
So I got flown out there to play with the Wailers. Junior Marvin and Al Allison was in the band at the time.
Fabulous.
You know, played. And then they called me back again, went over again, and played with them. That was an experience to me.
Oh my God.
You know, and I'm still playing today. And like people have said, I just love playing the bass.
Excellent.
I love it. I can hear a piece of music and I could put a bass line to it straight away. Do you know what I mean? I can, and people have asked me, can you just put a bass line on this for me? And I've done it. I've listened to it. And I do my own bass line. But it's the reggae for me. Because it's the deep bass.
Deep bass.
Do you know what I mean?
Nice, Glenn. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I was
That's
saying
true.
to somebody the other day, just when you get a nice tone on a bass, there's nothing sweeter.
No, you know.
I've never done drugs or drinking or anything like that, but I think the sweetest high has got to be from music, and especially the bass tone.
I'm telling
That's
you.
right. That's oh gosh.
I'm telling you.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I like that.